And welcome to another episode of Road to 2027. My name is Cynthia Agbo. As Nigeria gradually moves closer to the 2027 general elections, conversations about politics are once again beginning to dominate public discourse. Political parties are holding meetings, forming alliances, resolving internal disputes, and positioning themselves for what promises to be another defining election cycle. But beyond party politics and campaign strategies lies a deeper question. What kind of leadership does Nigeria need at this moment in its history? Across the country, citizens continue to grapple with economic hardship, insecurity, unemployment, inflation, and concerns about governance. For many Nigerians, the conversation is no longer just about who wants to lead. It is increasingly about who is prepared to lead, who has the capacity to govern, and who can inspire confidence in a nation facing complex challenges. Well, as political activities, gather momentum ahead of the 2027, issues of leadership, governance, accountability, and national direction are once again taking center stage. This evening, we examine some of the major political developments shaping the road to 2027. We profile some of the key presidential contenders who have indicated interest, already positioning themselves for the race, explore what they could mean for Nigeria's future, and ask an important question. Are Nigerians simply preparing for another election, or are they searching for a new kind of leadership? Once again, welcome to Road to 2027. I am Cynthia Agbo. All right, this evening we're going to start off with the major political developments. Now, the federal government has dismissed reports suggesting its plans to introduce new taxes on petroleum products and telecommunications services following recommendation contained in the International Monetary Fund's latest article reports on Nigeria. Now, government officials insist the IMF recommendations do not represent official government policy and maintain that no new taxes are being planned for either sector. The clarification comes amid growing public debate over the role of international financial institutions in Nigeria's economic reform program, and concerns about the potential impact of additional taxes on citizens already facing rising living costs. Meanwhile, the IMF projects that Nigeria could spend more than half of its revenue on debt servicing by 2026. Now, the conversation did not end there, because if you look all around the social space, there were huge conversations about how this is linked to something in 1993, that is the SAP, that is Structural Adjustment Program. Now, we followed a controversial tweet that was, put out by First Ladyship. I think we have that tweet here, where she said, in reaction to the IMF, request for the government to increase the taxes, she said something: "Dear Nigerians, pay attention. This is disturbing. I can't even sleep. Tinubu is implementing SAP 2.0, a program of the IMF. It will lead to premium tiers. Babangida tried it and it failed woefully. In fact, it led to anti-SAP riots in 1989. SAP caused the rapid depreciation of the naira, inflation, widespread hunger, and cost of living crisis. The protest forced IBB to call for the 1993 presidential election that produced MK Abiola." Now, the way for that to say that he wants to, that is the president wants to implement the same failed policies in 2026, which is the Structural Adjustment Program. It is exploitative. It was carefully designed by the IMF and World Bank to ensnare developing nations into debt traps and neo-colonial reliance. Chief MK Abiola was fiercely against it. He was vehemently against these Bretton Woods institutions. Nigerians should know their history. My people perish for lack of knowledge. That's the scripture there. Bola Tinubu is out to destroy Nigeria completely. And, you know, she put out, a link for people to read more about the Structural Adjustment Program. There are mixed reactions. But the great thing is that the government is saying they do not intend, to enforce or, bring this into force. Now, one thing you have to know is that on one of these Thursdays, we're going to take our time to really talk about the SAP project and see how it connects to the candidacy of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What is going to happen if the government decides to actually implement this? It is going to affect him and how people consider him a choice for the 2027 election, or if people want him back. This is a big conversation, but we'll pause on that and move on to our next, development for this week. Now, the Minority Caucus in the House of Representatives has accused President Bola Tinubu's administration of focusing on political calculations ahead of the 2027 elections rather than addressing pressing national challenges. The lawmakers cited insecurity and economic hardship and concerns over democratic competition, arguing that governance should remain the primary focus of government. The development adds another layer to the growing political debate over performance, accountability, and public expectations as the next election cycle approaches. Moving on to our next story this evening, the Court of Appeal has ordered a stay of execution on a federal high court judgment directing the INEC to deregister the African Democratic Congress, Accord Party, and other affected political parties. Now, the ruling allows the parties to continue operating pending determination of the substantive matter. Political observers say the decision could have significant implications for political competition and coalition building ahead of the 2027 elections. Let me also update you guys that an NGO decided to, sue Justice Lifu today, for the judgment that was delivered. Well, we'll see how that pans out, and we'll get developing stories once it's out there. Moving on, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has announced former River State Governor Rotimi Amechi as the running mate to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar for the 2027 presidential election. The party described the ticket as part of its efforts to present an alternative political platform ahead of the next general election. The development is expected to further shape conversations around coalition politics and opposition strategies heading into 2027. Moving on, the NDC has introduced a policy requiring its candidates to sign affidavits committing to surrender their mandates should they defect from the party after winning elective office. The party says the move is aimed at strengthening internal discipline and protecting the integrity of mandates secured on its platform. The decision comes amid growing conversations around political loyalty, party ideology, and defections within Nigeria's political landscape. Well, what do I think? I think it's a good idea. We're not going to have people jumping ships up and down, but I think I'll leave that for my guest when he joins us very soon, to get his thoughts on some of these headlines. All right, as political parties reposition and new alliances emerge, attention is increasingly shifting towards the individuals hoping to lead Nigeria after 2027 elections. Let's look at some of the major presidential contenders currently on the political landscape. A lot of hints have been going around, so we got our eyes on some of these people. So the race towards 2027 is gradually taking shape, with several prominent political figures already attracting national attention. Let's now take a look at some of those powerhouses. I like to call them powerhouses. Those people who have indicated interest, for this the most powerful seat in the country. The first person on our list is, of course, the incumbent, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All right. And of course, you see the information about him. He belongs to the APC, born on March 29, 1952, Osun State, elected senator, Lagos West in 1992, opposed military dictatorship, was exiled under Abacha, Lagos State governor from 1999 to 2007 under Alliance for Democracy, founded APC in 2013, won 2023 presidential election, and became the 16th president. Now he's back and says he wants a second term. Let's now move on to our next candidate, Peter Obi. Also he's of the NDC. His journey has been, he has had a lot of moving around, but let's look at it. Born July 19, 1961 in Onitsha. Rare philosopher at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He's a businessman before politics. And he was former Anambra State governor from 2006 to 2014. He was impeached at some point, restated, won 2010 re-election, and of course, Labour Party 2023 presidential candidate. And he was a strong contender in a strong opposition, I put it that way, for the Labour Party in 2023. And right now, he's the aspirant, and he has put out his nomination form for the NDC, and he has been put up as the flag bearer. Well, let's now move on to the next person, Atiku Abubakar. This one, African Democratic Congress. And of course, born November 25, 1946 in Jeddah. He was a former vice president of Nigeria from 1999 to 2007 under President Olusegun Obasanjo. That's PDP. He's a businessman. He's a philanthropist. He's, with extensive business scattered all around. And of course, he left the PDP. Now, his movement is quite a lot, okay? So we have him from the SDP to AC to PDP, and then APC, and then 2023 PDP. And all of these places he has been to, it has all been losses for all the times he has come out for presidency. It has all been losses. And now he left the PDP, to the ADC, where he has been given the mandate. But then again, there's still a bit of actions right there in the ADC. It will interest you to know that he has left the PDP 3 times. And, well, this time around he left for good. Let's now move on to the last person, to the next person rather, Sowore. I have Sowore right here on my list. And somebody asked me a question. Do you think that a man like Sowore will be able to run Nigeria? And I said, never say never. You never can tell. If we don't try it, how will we know? Okay, so African Action Congress, AAC, is Sowore. And of course, he's a human rights activist, pro-democracy campaigner, founder of Sahara Reporters, and he was a candidate in the 2019 election. He finished 10th position. Not so bad. But let's run through to Seyi Makinde. We have him on our list here. And we also have the man from the Seyi Makinde. Okay, let's talk a bit about Seyi Makinde. Of course, he's well-read at the same time, and he is currently the governor of Oyo State. And let's see how far he can go in this race. And then we have the SDP man, Adewale Adebayo. He tried in 2023. It was not very good. Now, there is this name that popped up on the list, Sunday Ono. I tried to ask lots of questions. What are your thoughts about Sunday Ono? And nobody could say anything. But let's see how far he can go in this interest. Let's see how he can go. And now Sunday Ono is under the Wike-backed faction of the PDP. Then we now have Chibuzo Okereke, which is on the Labour Party. And then we have Donald Duke, which we don't know how that is going to go. And then we have Goodluck Jonathan, which is under the Turaki-led, the Turaki-backed faction of the PDP as well. I think that's some of the names we have. All right, but at this point, we went out to the streets. Godwin Amunde did go out to the streets to ask some questions about this candidate. Well, let's see what they had to say. From Lagos to Lafia, from Port Harcourt to Portisco, Nigerians are talking. 2027 is here. We track the candidate and the call.
Nigeria's 2027 presidential election is expected to be strongly contested. Three of the most prominent figures in the race are President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress (APC), who is also the incumbent president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), former vice president of Nigeria, and Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party, the 2023 presidential candidate. Several other contenders are also expected to join the race. But who among these contestants has the stamina for 2027? Some Nigerians share their divergent views.
So we now have between Peter Obi and President Bola Tinubu. Now you look at it very, very well. Most people are saying Obi is just being shallow in his presentation. He's just moving with the crowd. And for now, in Nigeria, we need a strong leader. President Tinubu may look frail, but I think he's trying his best. He has taken some decisions that are painful, but we need these decisions. For every one of us, it's not easy.
Atiku will win the election. My reasons are because he's the only one, he's the only candidate from the northern Nigeria. And like you said, there are other candidates in other zones. We have the Sowore, the Obi, and Tinubu. So they are going to divide their vote. Atiku has added advantage because he's the only one from the northern Nigeria.
We've seen that of Tinubu, and definitely we are not going to give a total wrong judgment over his leadership, because leadership is something that until when you get to the fold, you can identify for yourself and for the masses. And from what we've seen, we expected more of it. And maybe if somebody has an opportunity has been given to Atiku, we can still feel a good governance that we expected from Tinubu to give.
This thing should be rotational. And based on that, the South, especially Southeast, South, should be given opportunity.
Politics, they say, is a game of numbers. Can Peter Obi pull the strings in 2027, considering the voter population in the northern parts of the country? Can Tinubu consolidate the Southwest and leverage incumbency? Will Atiku's coalition under the ADC platform reshape the opposition?
Before, the North doesn't know much about Peter Obi, but now he has penetrated the North. I could have said, okay, because Atiku have the North, he will win election because of the North. But now Peter has penetrated the North, so he have both the North and the South. So for sure, and both the youth are with Peter Obi. That's why I think and I believe Peter Obi will win election.
Person will just wake up in the morning saying, "Now my turn." Then he go sit down for there. Who won't challenge him? Because I don't see any flag again now. Abi? Or the only thing I want to tell people, they die well. Hungry, they kill people. More, just agree, more beg them, make them do well. Chicken,
we hope this moment of this election will come and Nigeria will still remain peaceful and united. Whatever the challenge before us as the masses and the leaders, we believe it will be curtailed someday.
President Tinubu is coming back 2027, 2031. Yes, it may not look feasible for the crowd, but for those who look at it politically, he has done well, and those who are silent will bring him back.
I don't have a special candidate, but if I'm to vote, if you're asking me who will I vote, that would have been a question. Who will I vote? I will vote a candidate, my candidate, and that is NDC. The candidate that emerges from there will be my candidate, and that is Peter Obi. One, he is young, and vibrant. He had made some consultations, and we need somebody that have not tested. Let him come and test. Let us see. Let this thing go round. I'm not saying it because I'm a bit from that zone, but let this thing go round.
As the pendulum swings towards 2027, one thing is clear. The race is wide open. Party structures will matter. Regional equations will matter. But ultimately, the decision will rest with Nigerian voters. Time, they say, is the greatest healer. Only time and the ballot will tell who becomes Nigeria's next president.
Now, those were the views of Nigerians, regarding the future of the country. One thing you have to know is that while opinions may differ on personalities and political parties, one thing remains clear. Many Nigerians are paying close attention to the choices political parties make and the leaders they present ahead of the next election cycle. And the road to 2027 unfold, leadership will remain at the heart of the national conversation. Well, I do have a guest joining me virtually who is going to help us answer some questions around leadership, and maybe, just maybe, you would know how to select, and also talk about development in the political sector, in the elections and all of that, what they could mean for Nigeria's political future. Our guest is joining us virtually. We have Honorable Ismaila Issa. He is the SA Media to the Governor of Kogi State. If you can hear me, Honorable Issa, it's great to have you this evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening, Cynthia.
All right, good evening. It's so great to have you.
Yes, I can. Good evening, Cynthia.
All right, it's so great to have you. All right, so I'm sure you were following up the background leading to this moment, and you saw the different views of Nigerians out there on the streets. First of all, let me ask you, what did you make of the thoughts of Nigerians right there?
Okay. I saw a fairly representative intervention by those people interviewed by Amunde on the street. So some people prefer the candidate of the APC, others NDC, and just a mixed bag, kind of, which is what you expect in a vox pop like that. So it's representative in a way.
All right, so I know you're very particular about leadership conversations and the need for a people, to be very particular about leadership. But let me ask you, do you think Nigeria has a problem of leadership?
Well, it's not about what I think, but I think it's more of what everybody knows, or what all of us know as Nigerians. Yes, it is what we know as Nigerians, that I wouldn't say the best of us are yet to represent us in different levels of government, but I think we need more of our people to get involved in governance or in leadership positions, unlike what it has been in the past. There are quite a good number of Nigerians who probably will do better than those who have had the opportunity of holding leadership position in the country. Unfortunately, it appears that most of those people who we think will do better haven't really been able to put themselves forward. And some of them who have been able to also put themselves forward having to be encumbered by the challenges that comes with leadership position, and somehow we've not gotten the best from some of them who have had the opportunity. So give or take, I think we are yet to see the best in terms of the kind of leaders that we really would want to have as Nigerians. Maybe those who came earlier in the immediate period post-independence probably fared a little better. also because probably, I don't know if the challenges at the time were more than what we currently are experiencing, but somehow I think we got it wrong at some point from what we've read or seen from our historical past.
All right, so I was about to even come there when you talked about the leaders we had previously. There was a time we did talk about, one of the episodes where we did talk about previous leaders that we've had in Nigeria and some of the things that they achieved. Why do you think that our leaders then were able to achieve a number of these things? Well, it may not be so fantastic, but history has it that they fared very well, and you've also confirmed that they fared very, very well. So what do you think were the factors that led to them faring so well, and why do you think our leaders are not faring very well now? Is it that the demands have increased, or what exactly could it be?
Yeah, from what we've garnered from history books and the interaction we've had with some people who were alive at the time, some of the factors that enhanced the performance of our early leaders in the immediately after independence was the fact that there was patriotism. Patriotism was the key factor, success factor for our leaders at the time, because everybody was nearly everybody, I wouldn't say in absolute sense, but most of them were more about Nigeria than any other thing. So that was a key success factor. You look at the likes of Sir Tafawa Balewa, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and so many of those leaders, perhaps too numerous to mention in this short interview, were very patriotic about Nigeria's independence and the success of Nigeria as a young nation just emerging from colonialism. And because they were also at the forefront of demanding the independence of the country, they felt that they had the responsibility of doing better than whatever they felt the colonial masters were probably not doing very well in terms of mobilizing the country to unite behind a young nation and then galvanize that patriotic fervor among Nigerians to make the country succeed. That was there. And they also had the exposure of having learned from the people who were colonial masters at the time. Most of them went to very good schools. I'm not saying there are no good schools now, and that also was helpful to them. But that sense of history, knowing where they were coming from the colonial days, they were in a hurry to do things right, and that really helped them to do very well. The other point I want to make quickly is the focus they had. They had their eyes just on one thing. This is a young nation and we need to do better as a country. So they were all focused on that. Despite their political differences, because of the platforms that produced the leadership they had then, they were all concerned first and foremost about the success of Nigeria as a young nation, so it doesn't become a steel bat. We are just gaining independence and then we are falling back again by not being successful as a nation. So that was a big factor for their success, in addition to the fact that they were patriotic.
You were trying to say something about our educational system. I know that is away from what we're talking about, but do you think that our educational system has gone better over the years? Because when we watch history videos and we talk to our old parents, it almost seems like they were properly educated than what we have now. I like we just touched that like 1 minute.
Yes, I wouldn't say that they were better educated or maybe they were better schools then. But I think it's more about values. The values of that era and even the period immediately after when some of our parents were born, or even when some of our elder brothers or elder sisters were born, we're told that they are slightly better. Because if you look at it, those of us born in the 80s, for instance, looking at what has been happening right now, we've lost it in terms of value orientation. for the generations that have succeeded us. I don't want to be particular about any generation, but somehow I think that the value seems to have been depleting as times, what's going on. As time went on, we see that some of the values that define character, integrity, and maybe the criteria for recruiting leadership at the time were no longer what those what we have right now. The criteria seems to have shifted a bit. These days, even if one wants to run for councillorship position in your village or your locality, you'll be told, the first question you'll be asked is whether you have money or not. Whereas in that era, people were even being persuaded to come run for office. Some of them were practically being begged to come run for office or take position so they can represent the people. But these days, again, people are throwing themselves up, and in majority of the cases, they might not have what it takes to really lead the people. But that's where we find ourselves now.
All right, let me pick you on something very quickly. You did talk about how our leaders, in the past, picked a particular focus, and maybe from your assessment, it probably helped them to better deliver. What we see happening these days is leaders outlining a number of things that they want to do, and without a clear-cut focus. So if you say you're going to be, which now brings me to one of the headlines that we read out, which I'd like to get your thoughts on. The headline that talked about the fact that our current leader, instead of focusing on what is coming in front 2027, he should focus on the cries of Nigerians. And right now, Nigerians are complaining that cost of living is expensive, there's insecurity, people are not safe, and he should be focused on that, so making sure that people are happy, build our bilateral relationships and every other thing. But do you agree with the people speaking in this line? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, you mean about the focus of the current administration?
Yes.
Well, I think that the government is trying its best, even though there are gaps, like we've seen with the security situation in the country. There are gaps in terms of the quick wins that most people had expected with respect to removal of fuel subsidy, then also the unification of the foreign exchange window, and all of those government policies that a lot of people had expected some quick wins. Maybe those quick wins are yet to trickle down to the level that most people expected. But generally speaking, the fact that the administration has taken that bold step to do some of the things that they are doing, which they feel is in the best interest of the country in the long run, is commendable. But notwithstanding, the expectation of the people still seems to be some step away from being met, which is why you wouldn't want to blame those who express their opinion in the video that you showed earlier, where some people expected more to be done by the government. Generally, as citizens, we expect more from our government. So, and it will not be out of place for people to demand more, whether in terms of the fight against insecurity, or is in terms of the macroeconomic dividends that people are not seeing much of for now, or the impact of fuel subsidy removal on the livelihood of Nigerians. So all of those are tenable, but I'm sure that the government has been appealing, if we give them maybe more time, probably I'm sure that they will turn the corner. But this is not the time for me to speak for or against the government.
Exactly, because I when you said that, I wanted to almost ask you, how much time can Nigerians give? Because I mean, we're already in another election season, and we all know how it is. So if you're not able to answer the people right now, it therefore means that people have to wait till when you are elected again before you can respond to their request and their heartache. Right. So I know you're not here to speak on behalf of the government, but then again, it's good to hear you say those words. We're not where we're supposed to be, but we're hoping that we'll have a very good time where we can really dissect some of the achievements of the administration and then put out the scorecard and let Nigerians on their own be able to decide if from this scorecard, if this person is meant to return. But that will be much later, into the season. Right here on the show, we'll do that. Let's come back. What do you think, as we get set to wrap up, and I'll let you go, Honorable Issa, let's talk about way forward. I'm always very keen on way forward.
When the campaign starts, I'm sure we will have a thing or two to say.
Yes, most definitely. Let's talk.
Process. Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about way forward. Some persons have talked about the fact that some of the factors that affect leadership is conflict management, delegation and accountability. We also talked about a number of issues like motivation. Do you think that Nigeria, this is a bit funny, but do you think that Nigeria as a country is it's so exciting to be its leader? Do you think so?
Okay, to be a leader in Nigeria is quite exciting, really. Given my experience working with different leaders in Nigeria and seeing some things up close and personal, it's quite exciting because, let me be very honest here, Nigerians are not very demanding.
Okay.
You can do just the basic. What Nigerians want are just the basic. And when you do those basic things, they can hail you to high heavens.
So why are we not getting the basics?
Continue to praise you and support you as a leader. And I've seen this happen. Yes. Basics are just, the basic amenities, just fix the road to their houses and say we are doing well. Our leaders, when we're told that private citizens, ordinary citizens used to write to presidents or prime ministers or governors and telling them what they think they are doing right and what they think they should look at. But these days with social media, we probably have flipped the script a bit, where there is the democratic license of the social media space for people to express a particular road. The other day I saw a video of somebody driving home, I think somewhere in the east or in the south, and he saw the new concrete paved road by the federal government. And the person came online and was praising the Minister of Works, praising the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that was quite exciting for me. And it also shows that if the roads were bad, like we used to see sometimes in the past, especially when people are traveling for major festivities in the Christmas period, people stay on the road in traffic, they express so much disappointment about government performance. So it's a mixed bag everywhere you go. But back to your question, Nigeria is quite an exciting country, not just to live in, but to lead, because our people are energetic, they are very well informed, they support their leaders, support their own, and they push the boundaries in terms of what leaders can do and what they expect from leadership. That's why I think it's very exciting for you to be a leader in Nigeria. And with the era of social media, it's even more interesting and quite more exciting too for one to aspire to lead in Nigeria at this time, because we are going to get feedbacks almost on the go, and that can help to shape government policies and make leadership even deliver better.
Okay, all right, that makes a whole lot of sense. You receive your feedback, like we'll say it in our social language, as it hot, you get to receive your feedback. But then, you know what they say about freedom of speech? We've had lots of people who have fall into the wrong hands just for expressing and, you know, their freedom of speech and talking about some of the things, the ills in the society and some things that they noticed, and it really did not end well. So, well, I will leave that. I'll leave that at that point. But I would say that, what are your final words, Honorable Issa, as we get set to leave on this, what we're talking about? Your final words in about 2 minutes.
Okay, well, about leadership in Nigeria, I don't want my final word to focus on the assessment of the government performance. Okay. But about leadership in Nigeria, I really think that more people should get involved in leadership at community level. And somehow, since politics has become the major platform for people to get into leadership position with respect to governance or in government, people should also take more than passing interest in politics. It may not be that you put yourself out for elective position. It will be, you could be appointed to serve. And more importantly, if you put yourself out and get involved in politics, as we've seen everywhere, the quality of our leaders largely is the quality of our followers. So where the followership is docile and not asking enough questions, not making enough demand, the leadership becomes more comfortable even with poor performances. But where the followership is strong, is virile, is active and very demanding, you will also see that leadership will have to step up and deliver more. So my final word is for more people to get more interested in leadership. If politics becomes the easier access to leadership, get involved in politics, even if it's at the community level. That way, somehow, someday we'll get it right.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorable Ismaila Issa, for joining us and having this very interesting conversation. I do hope to see you again once the election starts properly, so that we can dissect a couple of things and look and assess the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I hope you don't run away. All right. Let's now run.
Sure, thank you.
All right, let's now run very quickly to our electoral word for today. We must not miss that. Every episode, you have to learn something. So our electoral word for today is secret ballot, all right? A secret ballot is a voting system designed to protect voter privacy by ensuring that no one can know how an individual votes. And so it helps reduce intimidation, coercion, and vote buying by allowing citizens to make their choices freely and confidentially. The secret ballot remains one of the most important principles of modern democratic elections. I hope you've learned something this beautiful evening. And of course, that's too much we can take as preparations for the 2027 general elections continue. Questions about leadership, governance, accountability, and national development will remain central to public discourse. The decisions political parties make, the candidates they present, and the issues they prioritize will help shape the future direction of the country. And as always, Road to 2027 will continue to bring the conversation to you and, of course, track the development and, of course, the issues that matters the most. Thank you so much for joining us. That's been a great time. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms. My name is Cynthia Agbo. To have yourself a beautiful evening. From Lagos to Lafia, from Port Harcourt to Portisco, Nigerians are talking. 2027 is here. We track the candidate and the coalition
We follow the money and the manifesto. We test promises against reality. On security, jobs, education, power, finance, and more. This is not just a campaign platform. It's a public square. We bring you debates, deep dives, and on-the-ground reports with data, not drama. It's Road to 2027 right here on Rapid TV every Thursday at 5 p.m. The road is long. Let's walk it together.
The FIFA World Cup 2026 is here. Watch all 104 matches live on StarTimes, from the opening match to the final showdown.
And this time, it's not just watching, it's watch and win.
Subscribe or buy a StarTimes decoder and stand a chance to win the 10 million naira grand prize, plus many exciting prizes nationwide with subscription packages starting from just 4,000 naira. Recharge now via StarTimes app or visit any StarTimes office or dealer outlet near you.
StarTimes, enjoy digital life.
Magic has hit your imagination of TV. A brand new sundial with StarTimes inbuilt technology. New TV innovation with an inbuilt decoder that connects you to both StarTimes antenna and satellite signal. StarTimes Sundial TV, you can